Okay. So I have a question for you that I think is an important topic.
Okay. I'm bracing
What?
myself.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, be braced. Be braced.
Okay. Whew.
What would you tell your younger self about love, relationships, marriage, selecting a partner?
Hmm. Wow. What would I tell my younger self? Well, first thing I would tell her is a meme that's been on my mind all day, which is happiness comes from within, not from men
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
women. You know what I mean? Like, I would tell her that she's valuable, she's important, she's enough. You know what I mean? And then, like you said before, I'm silly, so I would tell her, you is kind, you is smart, you is important.
Hmm.
I would give her the little, the Viola Davis line. But I would tell her that she needs to tap into herself and figure out who she is and what she has to bring to the table and what
Hmm.
she wants out of life. And then she needs to try to find somebody that's in alignment with that. But that shouldn't be your focus. Like, your focus really shouldn't be trying to find a partner, because you're going to be, not that there's anything wrong with having a partner. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you have somebody and you want to share time and energy with them, that's fine. But it should be somebody that brings something to the table, that's not weighing you down,
Hmm.
someone that's equally yoked in a sense, um, mentally, spiritually, physically, somebody that can hold their own weight to a degree.
Hmm.
Um, that's one thing. I would say that you shouldn't try to change anybody. You know what I mean? You should accept that, almost like what you see is what you get. Not that people don't change, but don't try to be with them based on their potential of what you think they coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe might be.
Hmm.
But what are they showing you? Like Maya Angelou says, that when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. That's another thing I would tell her. And then I would tell her that there's a lot of toxic love out there. There's a
Hmm.
lot of toxic things out there, in general. There's toxic people. There are toxic, um,
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Sometimes,
sure do.
sometimes we wear these rose-colored glasses, and we just want to float through life to think that everything and everybody has the same intentions that we do, and that I wouldn't hurt this person, so that person would surely never hurt me. Or because they asked me what my favorite color is and
Mhm.
they took a little bit of interest in me, that doesn't mean
You
that,
have chemistry. Yeah.
yes, exactly, or that they're really interested in me, because some people know how to manipulate you by asking you things and appearing interested,
Hmm.
just so that they can get what they want out of you.
Hmm.
Child, if I was going to tell my younger self some things, I would have to write a book.
Okay.
Let's just say it like that. I would
Okay.
have to write a whole book.
Hmm.
And maybe I will. I don't know. But that sounds like a good start. What would I
That was
tell
the
my younger
forward.
self?
That was the forward of the
Yeah,
book.
that was the forward. Yes.
Okay.
There would be an outline, there would be some pages, there would be a lot. There would be a lot in there.
Well, I feel like I've had many of these conversations with different women, different backgrounds, and so forth. Are we dropping the ball or missing the mark on educating women in general, whether young or old, about, well, I think we're really talking about self-love. Isn't that
Yes.
the
Yes.
essence of it? Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. And that's what I figured out, how I ended up in all these things. Self-love, and I would also say self-love, and I would say societal norm you know,
Mhm.
societal pressures, because society puts this pressure on you that if you don't have kids, if you're not married, if you don't have a man, then
Mhm.
somehow you're not really complete, you know. Um, and then on top of that, so many of us, we fantasize about having a man and going on the trips and having date night and getting married, but we don't think about the work that goes into it. Like, I was thinking about it when you asked me all those questions in the beginning. It's kind of like if you have a job, if you're going to go work for a new company or something like that, you're going to do
Right.
research on the company, you're going to
Right.
interview them, you're going to have questions prepared. You're going to have studied what the other employees' experiences are like, and if you can,
Mhm.
you're going to talk to somebody from the company to see how they feel.
Exactly.
You know, we're going to go in with precaution, we're going to go in with research, and we're going to go in with education. But with relationships and love, we don't go in with that. We just come in with starry eyes and
Mhm.
butterflies in our stomach, and that's enough. You know,
Right.
and we're not taught that, like, not shorty, that is not enough.
Right. Right.
In
Exactly.
fact, go ahead and ignore them butterflies in your stomach because they're going to lead you in the wrong direction. Not that you don't want them there, that's fine, they can be there, but don't let yourself be led by them.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Have some
Feelings
education.
instead of facts. Right.
Right. Find out if you guys have similar values. You know, how
Mhm.
would you want to raise children? How are they raising their children? How do they treat other people?
Mhm.
You know, how do they treat their mother? What's their purpose in life? Are your purposes on the same track?
Mhm.
Are they supportive? Are they encouraging? Are they verbally and emotionally abusive? And that's one of the things I think it's important for us to kind of like get through life and know what things are. And then
Right.
even when you
Right.
even if you have a partner that you really love and you enjoy, you still have to have your own life. You know what I mean? Like, you can't base your all of your happiness and your joy and your hobbies and your life's purpose around that person, you know?
Right. Right.
Girl, yeah, you opened up you opened up a question.
But I think it's an important conversation that isn't happening enough. Like, I know, you and I've been able to talk about other things. I, I, f- I don't know. It's almost like this society and other cultures too are really bought into romanticism. And I think when we look at Hollywood, when we think of the fairy tales that we read as children, and it's almost like we come into adulthood not graduating from the fairy tales, still hooked on Hollywood's portrayal of love. Like everyone's life
Right.
can't be a romantic comedy, right?
Yes,
It's a
exactly.
romantic comedy as entertainment.
Right.
Yeah.
And most relationships are one of the things I learned during counseling while I was married, was that relationships, especially marriage, is 98% work.
Mhm.
You know, it's not a romantic movie. It's not a Hollywood romantic film. You know,
Right.
parts of life can be that. I mean, unless it's a drama. I mean, I
Yeah, exactly. And we're
that would
trying
be
to avoid that.
exactly,
No Mary
exactly.
J. Blige in my love life.
No more drama, honey.
Exactly,
No
exactly.
more. That is my theme song. Yeah, you know, I think I love love, and I'm looking forward to being in a happy, healthy relationship, but it has to start with me. It has to
Mhm.
start with myself. Am I in a happy, healthy relationship with myself and with others? You know? And I had to take a really good look at myself, and child, when I took a good look, I was shocked to see what was
Mhm.
there. Codependency, love addiction, sex addiction. You
Mhm.
know, there's so many things. You know, lack of self-love. Like, there's so many layers there when we really start taking a good look at ourselves, that it's like, whoa. You know, until you fix that, you can't have a healthy relationship with anybody. Until you have a healthy relationship with yourself, you cannot have a healthy relationship with someone else.
And so as you elevated on your self-love journey, did you notice things changing around you, people, things, places?
Absolutely. Like majorly. So many different things. And the interesting thing is it didn't start that way. Like it started with me it started with me realizing that I kept attracting the
Hmm.
same person, but it was just a different body.
Okay.
Different body, different name, but Ninja, you the same.
Right.
You know? So if you leave that person and you haven't fixed some things, you're just gonna end up with the same person again until you start learning the lessons. And definitely, I've had to cut some people off. I have spent a lot more time with self, you know, um, a lot more awareness, a lot more maturity. There's so many of the things that I used to do and be around, or I used to find exciting, that they just don't really even interest me anymore. You know, I'm definitely a new person. Thankfully, thankfully. I feel like we go through that process, you
No.
know.
Right.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying right. It paused a little on video.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, I think that's normal that like every 10 years, at least, you know, that you become like a totally different person. But, you know, every year I should look back and see that I'm in a better place than I was the year before. You know, ideally, there may be seasons of transition or seasons of renovation where it sometimes looks messier before it gets better.
Right.
But definitely, definitely new me.
Well, I love it. Well, you know, I'll be honest. I loved old you and new you.
Aw, thank you.
Evolving you works for me.
You're so gracious. You're so gracious and kind and loving.
No, that's my affirmation. And you know, let me ask you this question, just an opinion. When you find like real love, is it boring? Like, is the real thing like, oh yeah, like it doesn't have that drama piece in it, right? You came into it healthy. You're healthy. They're healthy. You know, everyone's stable, and
Right.
you've lost like a thirst for the things that might have been exciting at one time that you thought was happiness, but it's not really happiness. It's just excitement, and you don't want to do it anymore. So it's like when you get in a real love, is it boring?
You know, I would say that I don't think it feels boring. I think it's more like a peace.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have a peace. Like you're free to be yourself. You're free to be vulnerable. You're free to be um evolving. And it's ideally somebody that you can evolve with, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So you both have your goals, you both have your objectives. You're going to work together to help each other achieve. You should be inspiring each other, you should be encouraging each other, you should be growing together, you know. I don't want to be in anything boring, so that's out for me. We're going to have to be, you know, doing something, living life, enjoying life, helping others, having a purpose, working on our own goals, our own individual goals. And, you know, it should feel peaceful and joyful and fulfilling. It'll still be challenging. It'll
Mm-hmm.
still be hard work. And occasionally there will be drama. You know, it's definitely not going to be 100% drama free or argument free. I think that's another part of the fantasy, you
Mm-hmm.
know, that you fantasize that everything will just be amazing and wonderful all the time. And there will never be an argument and there will never be a fight and he'll never look at you the wrong way and you'll never look at him the wrong way. Never going to
Doesn't.
happen.
Yeah.
Never going to happen. But
Okay.
boring, no. cross
Okay.
me off the list for boring. It shouldn't be boring.
Peaceful, yes.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course, my pleasure. And thank you for inspiring me of how to get started, because I have had people ask me questions, about love and relationships and self-love and toxicity. And I wanted to write some things down, but I didn't have any clue of where to start. But you've given me some things to think about and pull out. So thank you.
Of course, of course. And I think whatever you end up doing with this inspiration will be awesome, because I think particularly in communities of color, um, we've normalized some things such that we don't recognize that, oh, this might not be healthy for me. Like
I
if you say
totally agree.
emotional abuse,
Right,
people don't know what that is or what that means.
right,
So, and
right.
and not only that, I think there are pockets of society or institutions that are invested in us not loving ourselves, So whatever
I
you
agree.
can do to chip away at that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's needed. We all need it. And I know what it's like. I said, there's been so many different dark places in my life. And I also never would have known, like, if you would have told me 5 years ago that I didn't love myself, I'd be like,
Yeah. Who are you? Who,
right?
who are you to tell me that? Right.
Right. And what are you talking about?
Exactly.
But now I can truly and totally tell you I didn't love myself. And people would look at certain things, my parents are still together. They have a loving relationship. I have
Right.
a wonderful relationship with them. We all have some sort of dysfunction somewhere, but
Definitely.
you know, it you can have a whole laundry list of things that you can check off that you have accomplished or you do have, and you could still not love yourself. So
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
it is important for us to talk about these things, and so thank you for the question.
Sure thing. Sure thing. And it's always a pleasure catching up with you.
Likewise, I look
Yeah.
forward to the next time and to the next question.
Sure thing. Sure thing. Love you.
Love you more. Mwah.
Later.
Bye.